Good morning. Vlog star date June 25th, 2024. The lighting is definitely better outdoors. I want to talk today a little bit about my recent mullings on unconditional love. If you've been following along for a while, then you would be very aware that this is a topic that I've covered for years about unconditional love and love is unconditional, etc., etc. And also about the importance of self-love and being in love with yourself. So I have a lot of content on that. I have a different take on things because of somewhat recent happenings in the last year and the last week. I have come to the conclusion, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, that the only true unconditional love is for ourselves. Everything else, in my experience of the world, can come and can go. I used to have so many friends and people that I kept in touch with frequently, and because of the for whatever reason, I don't need to postulate, for whatever reason, most of those people aren't in my life anymore. I had a kid 14 months ago. None of those people have met my child. So the group of people that I've known for a long time that I feel truly unconditionally loved by is like really, really tiny. And I think that's actually a pretty authentic experience. Other people, it was like, we'd see each other at parties and we'd love chatting, but we don't actually keep in touch. So, true unconditional love is self-love. And though I might tear up a bit about this because it can feel incredibly isolating, I will take ownership for these words. I can, at times, feel incredibly isolated whenever I think about the relationships in my life that have come and gone. I don't need to get into it here, but I cover at great length in my book about being estranged from my parents. And a month or so ago, I found out that my father was on his deathbed, and people who don't know me very well would say, like, are you going to go visit? Would you go to the funeral, whatever? And it's like, oh man, like that ship has sailed. That ship has sailed. And I'll get into it another time, maybe, because I feel it's healthy to talk about these things, but I don't know that there's a more effed up feeling than being estranged from origin family who are still alive. Grieving someone as dead when they are actually living is the most screwed up, sorry, I'm gonna swear, YouTube, mindfuck, I think anyone could ever experience, and I'm in it daily. And no, it's not. They're not gonna reconcile. They're in a religion that I cannot exist in, and therefore I don't exist. So they wrote me off as dead first. And it's been healthy for me to retaliate. Last year, I lost my remaining brother. I called us best friends for 20 years. And I was in postpartum. I was encountering postpartum anxiety, maybe postpartum depression. I don't need to label it. I did not have a diagnosis, but I was the most messed up I've ever been in my life. The sleep deprivation, the baby needs, the strain on the relationship, the lack of support from family. And we had a couple absolute gems from our community who helped out, but I do mean like a couple in terms of I can think of 1.5. So we were really isolated. And my brother no longer talks to me. And there was a misunderstanding. I feel it was a misunderstanding that happened with he sent my nephew out to visit. I thought my nephew was coming out to help. I reached out to my brother and was like, I need help. I no, we're not like a traditional family, but I need the type of family help that I hear everybody else, sorry, not everybody else, a lot of other people getting. And he couldn't make it, but he sent out his 18-year-old kid. I don't think anyone told the kid that Auntie Jessica was looking for help. He asked me on his packing list what he should bring, and I was like, grubby clothes for the garden, work gloves, blah, blah, blah. Flip-flops, like, bathing suit. Did he bring any of those things? No. He also had 1-inch nails when he showed up, which I thought was like this really cool kind of like gender expansive thing to do, but also like he's not going to help me in the yard with those nails. I spoke to him of needing more gratitude from him, needing expressions of gratitude from him, because he was getting me to pay for everything. He was like forgetting his wallet, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm not working. And he wasn't even bringing his dishes in from dinner. Like, he was really just like, I think he was really uncomfortable. I didn't think about it, but like all of a sudden his auntie is like breastfeeding in front of him. So there's like boobs, and he's 18, and I was uncomfortable, so he was uncomfortable, I'm sure. And he wasn't saying thank you for anything, and I was working so hard to make time for him every day, to take him on adventures and things like that. And I talked to him about it, and in retrospect, I realized I was pretty stern with him, but I thought I had this relationship with him, that I was a respected adult, that I could talk to him about this. But no, I was not a respected adult. He left that night. His dad flew him out. I have not spoken to him again. I have not spoken to my brother. I've tried to. I called so many times with my brother. My brother said he was really upset. He said he was livid, and he'd get in touch whenever he calmed down. I believed him. He didn't get in touch. And then whenever I reached out, a week with a newborn is like, who even knows, hours or a day. I reached out later being like, hey, can we talk? And now he's mad at me because I didn't reach out sooner. So I am a mom with postpartum mental health, mental illness issues, and these men in my family are just like, you didn't do enough for me, blah, 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 blah. Like, what, you need me to mummy you too? And I reached out. I sent him messages being like, after everything we've been through together, like, we can't just break, like, really, over this? And he cut me off, and I received a vile text from my nephew, vile, that I just didn't respond to, and I haven't spoken to either of them. So, I've been in love, I've had relationships, I have people that I've been common law married with. None of those people are in my life anymore. Was that love unconditional? No, we do not love each other anymore. People talk about how you can love a person but not love their actions. Great. That's not where we are on anything. My brother doesn't love me, okay? I thought we had a good relationship. He fired me. He kicked me to the curb. I have a pain in my right side right now, which is where I feel emotions like this, where I feel deep rejection. My partner and I have been doing so well. We got through it all, and then we had an argument a couple days ago, and some of the things that he said in our argument, some of the things that I said back, it's like, is this love? This conversation is not loving. This approach to each other is not loving. And I had a camping trip planned anyway, and I was thinking about it, and it's like, do I feel this person loves me? And okay, yada, yada, yada. It can be very, very depressing to sit and be like, my origin family doesn't actually love me. My partner at times is not loving, though he says that he loves me, like, in the big picture. But for him to be like, well, yeah, I love you, and here's all these things about you that I don't like, and you're like this and you're like that, and it's just like, that's not, like, I've been trying to change as much as I can, but there's only so much one person can do in a lifetime. And also just, there's things that I've accepted about myself that I have accepted about myself, that I know I will not change. I will always have intense abandonment issues, and I think that's okay. I really think that's okay, and I love you, Jessica, for understanding your abandonment issues and when they come up, and for understanding why, and for accepting that about yourself. I love you. So it's a superpower, people. It is a superpower. You can unconditionally love yourself. So if you are not into self-love, you gotta get on it. It is so healing. It is beyond healing. And you can love yourself unconditionally. And most people have families that will love them unconditionally. I have a son now, and I hope that he loves me unconditionally for the rest of his life. I hope that I never let him down in a way that he is just like, my mom is dead to me. But I live every day knowing that that is a possibility because I have gone through it with my own parents. And this shit is intense. And without my own unconditional self-love, I would not have the ability to step one foot forward. But you know what? I am both feet in on this life. I am both feet in. I love you, Jessica. I love you unconditionally. People, self-partnership, self-love, for whatever it is, whoever you are, you probably have people that love you unconditionally. You probably do. Or maybe you're like me, where you actually don't. And it's a tough thing to admit. But there's a superpower in admitting it, and it's even more important to fucking love yourself. Love yourself, love your wounds. It's important. Okay, I'm gonna finish my coffee, and I'm gonna go to work.